Night in downtown Cincinnati, and we welcome you to Great American Ballpark, where the defending National League Central Division champion Reds out of the gate at 3-0 welcome the Houston Astros to town for the first of three. And a very special treat indeed, everybody. Number 21 is back in Cincinnati, Sean Casey. I'm Tom Brenneman. Great to have you with us on Fox Sports Ohio. They're cheering here. They love having the mayor back in town. How you doing?
Oh, it's great to be back. Great to be here, and fun watching this club play. And I'm tell you what, I'm pretty nervous out here, Tom. I've never been this nervous, outside of a uniform.
Let me ask you, 3-0, you follow the Reds so closely now with the MLB network. Are you surprised how well the team is playing right out of the gate?
You know what? They got a great club. I mean, obviously, they were so good on offense last year. They got great starting pitching, the back end of the pen. Their bullpen's been great. I'm not surprised. I feel like they're solid all the way around, baked, leading, driving the ship. I'm not surprised.
All right, now you have some other important duties before we get up in the booth. You're throwing out the first pitch tonight. You a little nervous about this?
This is the only thing I'm nervous about. I'll be all right, though. I mean, I saw the mayor of Cincinnati throw it out one time. The guy was like 45 feet to the right or left, so hopefully I do better than him.
All right, big fella, go get him.
Thank you.
Sean Casey going to throw out our first pitch here tonight at Great American Ballpark.
Come on, Andy. Make it. Don't blow it, Annie. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Stretch. Give it the leg lift. There you go, brother. Yeah,
Nice.
man.
Very nice.
See, Annie, that's right inside, brother.
Got it, baby.
Good frame. Good frame.
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks, boss. Appreciate it.
Good to see you around here.
Good to see you, too, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. All right, thank you. How about that one right there? How about that pitch right there? Not a good. How about Tommy?
Very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Awesome.
the unbeaten Cincinnati Reds coming up on Fox Sports Ohio. Jim Day with you. The sun is shining at the ballpark. Let's get all the details on the weather, though. Here's WKRC's Tim Hedrick.
A cool night down at the old ball yard. Looks to me like temperatures will be in the 40s at first pitch and in the 40s by the time you get home. 48 to start, 43 on the way home. Looks like a cool night. Enjoy the game on FSN. Oh, I'm on again this year.
Tim, thank you very much. He is on this year. You just saw Sean Casey throw out the ceremonial first pitch. The real first pitch will come from Mike Leake. Of course, he got off to that 5-0 start last season, skipping right over the minor leagues, right to the major leagues. Ended up with an 8-4 record of 4.23 ERA. After shutting him down for the latter part of the season, he is rejuvenated and ready to go. Career versus the Astros, 1-1. In 3 starts. Can Mike Leake and the Reds stay unbeaten? We'll find out next. Tom and the Mayor, Sean Casey, are up next.
Brought to you by State Farm. State Farm agents are there when you need them. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. Buy your local Ford dealer. Ford, drive one. By Cincinnati USA. Come for the Reds, stay for the fun. Book your trip at cincinnatiusa.com. And by Skyline. Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Well, the Houston Astros come a-calling in the first of 3 tonight. And here's a look at their batting order. Under manager Brad Mills, Michael Bourne in center field, Angel Sanchez at short, Hunter Pence in right field, Carlos Lee the cleanup batter, Bill Hall at second, and Brett Wallace at first. A ladder third of Chris Johnson, Humberto Quintero behind the plate. Jay Happ is on the mound. And starting at 4, the Reds, what a bang he started with last year, Sean Casey, Mike Leake.
Pretty impressive. Never spent a day in the minor leagues. Comes up and had a great first half last year for the Reds.
Strike one to Michael Bourne, the speedy center fielder. And his game is underway. You see the final numbers for Leake last year after that great start. They had an eye on the number of innings that he pitched right from the get-go following his final year at Arizona State University. But this year, no holding back for Mike Leake.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you watch Mike Leake pitch, I think the big thing with him is really just pounding that strike zone. You know, nothing overpowering, but really lets that ball work for him, especially his sinker, and just 86, 87 miles an hour, but gets guys to put it in play.
Rolling in on the grass at third in case Bourne decides to bunt. He hits a sharp one-hopper right at Brandon Phillips, and there's one away. So a good start for Mike Leake. Let's take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. First start of the year in right field for Chris Heisey, replacing Jay Bruce. Roland, Giannis, Phillips, and Votto around the infield, and Ramon Hernandez, all he did was hit a home run to win on opening day and hasn't started a game since.
Pretty stacked lineup. When Ramon Hernandez can't get back in there, you know they're pretty good. And Hannigan got in there and hit a couple home runs, so they're deep in their lineup, Tommy, no doubt about it. Angel
Sanchez filling in for the injured Clint Barmas, who fractured his hand during spring training, and so Sanchez, who we saw at the end of last year, in the lineup from the get-go and quickly 0-2. And here's strike three called. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Mr. Sanchez.
That's the one thing about Mike Lee. He's going to fill up the strike zone. He's not going to try and trick you. He's going to fill it up. That's what he does right here. A little cutter. Looks like the ball's starting right at Sanchez, then bam, just cuts right over the inside part of the plate. You see that rotation right there at the end, just has that little tilt right there on the cutter. Nice piece of pitching right there by Mike Leake.
So 2 away, and that'll bring up Hunter Pence. 5 out of 12 to start the year. Very impressive young player. Has put together 3 very solid years since coming up from the minor leagues.
You know, Hunter Pence is a guy that you watch, and you know nothing is, so fluent, everything like that, but he gets the job done. You know, he just doesn't have that textbook perfect swing, the way he runs a little bit, but this guy's one of the better players in the National League.
You know, another thing he does, we talked about it last year, Sean, you don't see many players do it, is choke up on the bat.
Yeah, he chokes up on the bat. You know, you go back to Barry Bonds, you know, try to get that bat control. Guys choke up on the bat, try to get a little bit more bat control, feel the barrel of the bat, where they can, you know, just drop head on the ball.
In the air, right center field, backing up on it quickly and able to run it down is Heisey, and Leake begins the game with a perfect inning. So here come the Reds. Stubbs, Phillips, and Votto to get things started. Baker's starting lineup reads as follows. Drew Stubbs in center. Brandon Phillips at second with Joey Votto at first. Scott Rowland, the cleanup hitter, with Johnny Gomes in left and Chris Heisey in right. A latter third of Ramon Hernandez, Paul Giannis, and Mike Leake. He came over from the Philadelphia Phillies after a very impressive rookie year there. Left-hander Jay Happ.
Jay Happ was the big key in that Oswalt trade. I mean, I think they felt like, you know what, we got to get a guy that can come into the big leagues, help us out right away. And Jay Happ did that. When he came over, when Oswalt went over there, he came over to the Astros and really did a great job for him.
Not an overpowering guy is Happ, but can throw 3 different pitches for strikes. And throws a little harder than maybe a lot of people give him credit for. Strike 1 to Drew Stubbs. Happ, a smart guy, went to Northwestern University 3 years in a row, was a first-team All-Big Ten performer, and Stubbs nearly beats out a routine ground ball to short. used to run like that, Sean Casey.
I was just going to say, he's got my speed, man. He can absolutely fly. You know, I tell you what, it's nice to have this tool. I never had this tool. You know, puts it on the ground ball routine, and Stubby almost beats it out. That's impressive right there. I was out by like 14, 15 feet right there. I looked like I was ice skating down the line.
All right, so maybe the Lord above didn't bless you with all that speed, but you could hit.
Yeah. Well, you know, at least I always tell people you can't steal first, okay? You got to get on base somehow. Deion Sanders could fly, but I was a better hitter.
No debate about that one. Brandon Phillips down a strike. Boy, you had so many great years, Sean Casey, and, you know, wherever you went, I'm not telling you anything you don't know and saying it because I'm sitting next to you. I mean, you know, you got nicknamed the mayor for a reason. You remember how you got that nickname? Whoever said it to you first?
I do. I was in the Cape Cod League in 1994, and my manager, Mike Kirby, was assistant out at Cal State Florida, and Bill Mosiello. And we would come to the park, and I was always saying hi to everybody, and, you know, our PA announcer, everything like that. And they're like, and always talking to everybody at first base. And this guy, Mike Kirby, with his California accent, is like, "Hey, Mayor, you're always looking for votes. We're going to start calling you the mayor." And that's kind of how it started. And then it just kind of picked up over the years. So it's a good nickname to have. I can think of some worse ones.
You know, well, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean, not funny, but I mean, I think it speaks to the kind of young man you are, the kind of young man your mom and dad raised, even today, all the years you were with Reds. Now, a lot of the people who are here are gone, but there are a lot more that are still here.
There are so many people, you know, the Rick Stows of the world, the Mark Stows, you know, even seeing Luke down there, Rick's son, and, you know, there's so many people, the security guards and all those guys, just so many people that are still here when I was here still.
Found out a play by Joey Votto.
Your dad?
He's still around,
He's
cranky as ever.
He's still cranky as ever. I saw Marty today. I'm like, you still here, Marty? Jeez. It's like your 58th year.
Yeah, that first opening day, 1869. Runner goes, and Votto takes way inside, and no chance for the catcher to throw out Brandon Phillips. And Quintero, not an easy guy to run off.
I mean, he really got a good jump here. You see first move, and Brandon was on the go. That's the big thing here. When you got Stubbs, you got Phillips here at the top of the lineup. That's where you make things happen. I mean, he gets a single. Now he's on second base because he can flat out run. But he got a great jump right there. Went on Hap's first move, and now you're in scoring position for Votto.
Votto knocked in 2 runs on opening day, and that's his total now, with a chance to knock in Phillips. Waves through the pitch, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Why do lefties traditionally, and Votto doesn't fit the bill, but why do lefties have trouble with lefties generally?
I don't think you see him as much, and also it's tough sometimes to sit in there and just lock down and stay in it. You know, you see righties so much, but when you have that lefty on lefty matchup, you really got to bear that front shoulder down and wait on the ball, which Votto does very, very well.
2-2.
Yeah, the one thing I love about Joey Votto and talking to him before the game is like he's a big process guy, not results, process. Tonight he's coming out, he's getting ready for the game, doing his flips in the cage, and getting ready for each pitch. And he's not going to waste a pitch out there. When you get Joey Votto out, you're going to have to get him out.
Phillips at second base, 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. Fouled away. That's a pitcher's pitch there, and Votto able to hang around. We take a look at Houston defensively, presented by Ford. They'll go with Bourne in center, flanked by Lee and Pence. The youngsters Johnson and Wallace on the corners, Sanchez and the former Brewer Bill Hull at second base, with Happ and Quintero the battery. 2-2 to Votto, 1 out. 3-2.
You know, you love the pitch before. It's a pitch inside, a little changeup, and he wastes it. Gets it out of there. Now he's back to 3-2. You know, Votto stays in there. It's not the pitch he wants. He's swinging at it, kind of wasting the pitch. Now he gets a 3-2 where he feels like, all right, now he feels like he's back in charge.
And he draws a walk.
Great at bat right there. Just a great at bat. Made Hap work and work and work. And I think you start taking pitches that he took and wasting pitches that he took. Hap starts to realize, okay, you know, this guy's got me. I don't have him.
Going to bring up Scotty Rowland. 2 hits in his first 11 at bats. Rowland had a double and a sac fly RBI in Sunday's 12-3 thumping of the Brewers. Reds off to the 3-0 start. The last Reds team to start a year 4-0, 1990. And there's a base hit in the center field that'll bring in the first run of the game. Phillips will score. 1-0 Reds.
Great piece of hitting right there. You know what happens right there, Tommy? You know, Happ says, okay, I gave everything but the kitchen sink to Votto, little slider, changeup, couldn't get him to chase. I got to get on top of Rolen. Rolen knows it, says, you know what, that first pitch fastball I'm going to hunt. He hunts it, drives it up the middle, and gets a big RBI. Nice piece of hitting. I mean, just, and then Scotty Rolen, when he's going good, he's thinking up the middle. He's thinking, I'm going to drive the ball up the middle, use those gaps, hit some line drives. That's what he did right there, jumped on that first pitch fastball.
It's hard to believe it in a guy you grew up watching play. I mean, going back to your high school and college days when he came into the big leagues.
Oh, yeah. No, you know, and he's still doing it. Still impressive. You know, I used to ask you when you're playing, hey, who's the one guy you pay to watch play? And Scotty Rolen was always the guy I'd say, you know what, I'd pay to watch that guy play. And still to this day, the way he plays the game, I'd still pay to watch him play.
Johnny Gomes looks at a strike. Gomes 2 hits in his first 8 at-bats, has a home run. That was in Sunday's win. And one thing that Gomes has done early on this year, he's already walked 5 times in the first 3 games of the season.
Which is impressive for Johnny because he's up there swinging. He never saw a fastball he didn't like. You know, he wants to take his grips. Listen, I love Johnny Gomes. I mean, you look last year, limited playing time, 86 RBIs, I think. This guy's a money player. He's a guy that brings a lot of energy to that club. You know, I like him at the bat.
Good eye there. 2 balls and a strike. Reds not wasting any time after Happ retired Stubbs. Phillips a single, stole a base. Votto draws a walk, and Rolen knocks in Brandon with a single, and they're looking for more. Borderline strike there. Gomes turning around to Andy Fletcher. He thought it was low.
You know what he said right there? Come on, Andy. If you call that a ball, I got 3-1 now instead of 2-2. And now I'm looking for a fastball I can crush.
Tim Welke, the umpire at first. Jim Reynolds at second with Mike DeMuro at third base. And now time is called. The way the inning is gone for Happ, you wonder about this meeting right now. I mean, 2-2's an action pitch generally. Pitcher doesn't want to go 3-2, and probably trying to figure out what it is they want to do on this 2-2 count.
Well, that's what they're thinking. They're talking this right now and said, let's get this right. We've got 2-2. Let's make 2 quality pitches here if we have to go to 3-2. But let's make this 2-2 pitch a quality pitch. Maybe we can get a ground ball somewhere and get out of this inning.
Votto taking a look around at the outfielders where they're playing. Rolling at first, and there's a pitch low that Gomes doesn't chase. Votto better than average speed at second. Rolen average maybe slightly below at first. Gomes in the past a big swing and a miss guy. We'll see if Dusty rolls the dice and starts the runners 3-2. No. And it's ball 4. They're loaded for Chris Heisey.
You know, you talked about Johnny in the past being a big swing and miss guy. I think that has to come within Tampa. He was a big platoon guy. Didn't get a lot of consecutive at-bats. Never got a chance to get into a rhythm. I think last year was the first year he got an opportunity where Beck said, all right, go out there, Johnny. Give us some good at-bats every day. You're going to get 4 at-bats every night. And he came in and produced.
Well, here's a young man who is so impressive. His first taste of the major leagues last year, had a phenomenal spring. And that's Chris Heisey. 2 years ago, the Reds minor league player of the year. And it's in there, strike.
They're going to have to find a place to play this guy eventually. I mean, this guy's playing himself into the lineup. I mean, he's that good of a hitter. And they're going to have to find a place for him here pretty soon.
They're loaded with only 1 out. And a breaking ball down and in to even it up. Talked about the spring that Heisey had. Many wondered if he was in the hunt to win a roster spot. We weren't 2 weeks into spring training, and Dusty Baker said, you can forget about that. Heisey's on the team.
Well, when you put up those kind of numbers, you know, in spring training, you know, when you're a young kid, you're here to make an impression. When you go to spring training, you're here to impress, and obviously he made an impression on Bake last year, and also right out the gates, saying, hey, I'm a big league player, this is where I belong.
Three and one now to Heisey. I think Happ may be getting a little frustrated with the balls and strikes from Andy Fletcher.
This is a situation right here as a hitter where you really believe, okay, mentally I'm thinking, I'm in the driver's seat, I'm going to get a key home here, get one pitch hit, 3-1, and take a hack.
And Happ has walked in a run, ball 4. Reds lead 2-0. The Houston pitching coach, out to visit with Happ, who, after retiring Stubbs to begin the first inning, has allowed 5 consecutive Reds to reach. 2 hits, 3 walks.
You watch this first inning so far, Tommy, and it's been tough outs. They're not out there swinging wildly. They're trying to hit their pitch. Their approach is great. Every guy that's been up there so far has had a great approach, trying to get a pitch out over the plate. If it's not there, they're not swinging, and that's making Happ's life miserable right now because they're not fishing at the pitches he wants them to fish in.
24 pitches already in this opening frame for Happ. He only has 1 out recorded, and now faces Ramon Hernandez. The last time he made contact, a game-winning home run to right field on opening day. A game-ending 3-run home run. Had 4 hits on opening day.
He probably went into Bake's office and said, hey, I just wonder, what do I got to do to get back in the lineup? I just wondered, 4 hits and a walk-off 3-run bomb it's not good enough. All right, call me when I'm back in there.
Well, the Reds catchers have been pretty doggone good. Hannigan saying, all right, I better step up to the plate if I'm going to get in there. The two have combined for 9 hits and 12 at-bats. Trouble here, though. There's one, and the throw will pull the first baseman off the bag. Sanchez had plenty of time with Hernandez a runner, and just a sloppy throw, and the Reds lead 3-0.
Oh, look at Heisey right here, busting it, knowing he has to break it up. Does his best right here, takes him and gets Sanchez in the air, and that's the weak throw you see to Wallace over there at first base. Great job by Heisey. This is how you win ball games. You don't always win by driving them in, but right here, Heisey gets Sanchez in the air, which obviously gets his power up. He can't make a strong throw to first base, but that obviously gets a run and keeps this inning going.
So now the 8th man to bat in the inning is a shortstop, Paul Yanish. Gomes at third with Hernandez at first. Ramon gets an RBI, giving him a team high 4. Well, Sean, if the Reds pitchers get them out 1, 2, 3 in the first inning and they score 3 or more runs in the bottom of the first inning, you might be here the rest of the season.
I'll have to call Bob Castellini and Phil and say, any chance I can stay here the rest of the year.
You might get a little extra money out of that with this good luck,
He's my agent, Tommy?
I can work on it.
That'd be great, man. I appreciate it.
We'll work on the cut later. Pitch down and in. Of course, Paul has a lot of friends and family undoubtedly watching the game back in Houston tonight. Grew up in the greater Houston area. Always a lot of family members and good friends show up when the Reds go down to Houston. They have a lot of Texans on this Reds team.
Oh, they do. They do. Again, when Adam Dunn was a big Texan when I was there, every time we go down there, you have everybody at the game too, But I tell you what, Paul Yanish this is a key for me this season for the Reds. I mean, finally gets a chance to go out there and really, play every day. And obviously, last year he started swinging the bat a little bit better. I mean, they've always been he's a great shortstop. You know what? If he can handle himself, hit 260, 270, you got a gem right there up the middle.
Popped up and playable. And the first baseman coming down the line to get it. Reds send 8 to the plate and jump out to a 3-0 lead at the end of 1. Elk Serious Lawyers for Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. The opening day infield and the catcher spot last year for Houston. Not one name remains the same here in 2011. They planned on having Barmes at short, but he's hurt. They brought in Bill Hall. Chris Johnson came up at the end of last year along with Brett Wallace. And Humberto Quintero is their opening day catcher. That's a lot of changes for one team.
No doubt about it. I think they obviously got younger at the corners with Johnson and Wallace. They feel like those guys can both swing it a little bit. You know, Brad Mills feels like they can be fixtures for years to come.
The Astros, you may remember, got off to the terrible start last year. They began the year 0-8. And boy, the free fall continued for quite some time. All the way to the final day of May when they had just 17 wins against 34 losses. But give them credit. The first-year manager Mills, they hung in there. They were 7 games over 500 through June, July, August, and September. So they got better as the year went on, but they have fallen so far back that they weren't going to get in the race.
They were playing such catch-up. You know, I was with Brad Mills in 2008 with the Red Sox. This guy has great manager written all over him. He's a great communicator. Players love playing for him. You know, he's a guy that's going to get the most out of that team, and he did last year. I mean, they started off slow, but, you know, he comes to the park every day with that same demeanor, and guys love that, and guys end up playing for that. And they played for Brad Mills after that, you know, horrendous start those first 2 months.
Of course, he and Terry Francona joined at the hip. In fact, going all the way back to when they were college roommates at the University of Arizona. On the ground, rolling, the pirouette, no problem.
You know what you got to love about Scotty Rowland? Obviously, he makes that play in his sleep, but you know, it's just so impressive. His first step is unbelievable. This is, you know, nice soft hands here, nice spin. But watch this. He hits the first baseman in the chest every time, his whole career. It's unbelievable. Watch his first step right here. Gets that, bam. Knows how to do a little spin throw, sets his feet, takes his time, right on the money.
Of course, Rowland, along with Brandon Phillips and Bronson Arroyo, all 3 won Gold Gloves last year. Here's Bill Hall, who for all those years is a member of the Milwaukee Brewers, used to just wear out the Reds. In his career, 18 home runs, and this is only in 329 trips to the plate. 18 home runs and 56 runs batted in.
I was there for a lot of those. Billy Hall wore us out, especially in Milwaukee. He'd hit that ball to right center, and you'd just be like, oh, no, this thing's just going to keep on carrying it. Billy Hall got us again. He was a Reds killer.
Of course, Hall getting a chance now to play every day at one position. Played multiple positions, all the outfield, 3 spots in the infield last year. for the Boston Red Sox. There's that ball to right center, but this one stays in the park. 2 gone.
Billy Hall's a guy, you just for all these years they put him in different positions here, there, trying to find a spot for him, but he can hit. And the bottom line is that if you find a guy that can hit and get it done day in and day out, you're going to find a spot for him. And Houston say, hey, listen, come over to us right now. We're kind of rebuilding, getting things going. We'll put you at second base and get you your 600 ABs.
And he'll put up numbers if he gets a ton of it back.
No doubt about it. He'll hit some home runs, drive in a lot of runs.
Slow start to the year for Brett Wallace. Of course, you can understand why. Remember where the Astros opened the season versus Halladay, Cliff Lee, and Roy Oswalt.
That'll put you in a slump. Real fast. You look up, oh, who you open up with? Philly? Oh, we have Murderers Row right there. 4 horsemen coming at you first 3 days.
Line in the center, and there's a base hit. First base runner of the game against Leake with 2 outs here in the 2nd inning.
Talk about finding a home. Brett Wallace, coming out of college, this guy was rated as the best pure hitter coming out of college. But look at this swing right here. I mean, he just really, that ball's sinking away. Doesn't try to do too much. Look how easy it is. A little leg kick right here, stays on his backside, and just drives it back up the middle. That swing right there, Tommy, plays in the big leagues. Day in and day out.
Now, you had that big step, that leg kick.
Right.
What did that do for you?
Well, for me, I was more of kind of a picking my foot up, bump back. What that leg kick does, though, it keeps you loaded on your backside, and so it keeps you, it keeps the rhythm good. It lets the ball travel. And then you get your front foot down and go. So when you get that leg kick right there, it really gets you on your backside and then gets you off your backside.
Fouled out of play by Chris Johnson. Well, here's some of the swings of Sean Casey. So many base hits throughout his career to all fields.
Look at that one right there. Now this is where I turn the speed on right here, Tommy. That one, look at that. That's like Drew Stubbs right there. Oh, this is one of my best ones right here. Oh, okay, Mike.
We're already tired of it.
We're already tired of it. Looks like they throw that one out. So that was opening day against John Burkett. I think that was my only standing ovation in my career. That was awesome, though. That was a great moment. Man, I loved playing here, man. It brings back such great memories being back here right now. I can't even tell you.
Well, everybody's so excited to have you back. Look at Giannis. Oh, jeez. Goodness. The Houston native. To his right, scoops it up, gets a force play. Nicely done, Paul Giannis. With Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Everything a Reds fan needs to get ready for the game. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Jim Day and Jeff Picoro and company. Brian Giesenslow and our entire crew. Look at that. We love the mayor.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
And with all due respect to Mark Mallory, I don't think that sign was made for him tonight. Could be wrong.
Now he can hit a little bit too, Mikey Leake, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice swing.
Good athlete. In fair territory, Bill Hall to squeeze it. And Leake retired to begin the second inning with the Reds in front 3-0. Tell you who else can swing it is Travis Wood.
He can swing it too, huh?
And he can run.
And he can run.
Might be the second fastest guy on the team.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Might be. We talked about this at length last year, that having watched Wood run, he has a triple in his career, has a number of other hits, that Stubbs is undoubtedly the fastest guy on the team. But after that, I mean, if you put Brandon Phillips and Travis Wood out there, close to call.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive, especially when you're a pitcher, you can roll like that. It's pretty impressive.
Stubbs nearly beat out a routine ground ball to short for an infield hit leading off the Reds' first inning. Just out at first. But then the Reds sent 5 straight hitters to the plate that reached base in a 3-run first inning.
It must be nice, though, if you're Drew Stubbs, to know that you can hit a grounder to short and still get a hit. You know, I mean, there's not a lot of guys that can say that.
That one pulled hard into left field, a base hit. So Drew, a one-out base runner. It's Ticket Tuesday on Fox Sports Ohio. What that means is during every Tuesday game, so tomorrow night, as a Fox Sports Ohio viewer, you can get exclusive deals on Reds tickets. Right now, you can get an all-you-can-eat seat for this Thursday's game. That's an afternoon game for $25, a $7 savings. So go to Reds.com/Ticket Tuesday and get your tickets today.
All you can eat?
All you can eat.
When's that, Tuesday?
Now, you were telling me when you were driving in from Pittsburgh today, you had to pull off to the side of the road and gobble down some Skyline before you even got to the ballpark.
You know what? I was running a little late, and I was like, I got to get, I don't care. I have to tell Brennan and the boys they got to wait a little bit. I got to get to Skyline as quick as I can. I used to live out there by Fields Road, and I knew it was right there, so I pulled off. I literally ran in, and the lady was like, "Hi, can I help you?" He was like, "5-way, we'll give you the 5-way large." you know, at Skyline's there in 2 seconds. Literally. 2.5 minutes later, I was in my car on my way out here, but it was so good. It's still sitting on me a little bit, but it was so good.
I'm surprised you haven't tried to, open a franchise in Pittsburgh, PA.
Oh, I've thought about it, Tommy. I've thought about it. I'll have to call you if you want to come in on me. Give me some of your money. We'll do it. We'll blow it up out there.
They love it in Pittsburgh.
Oh, they'd love it. They're those kind of eaters. They like the permane sandwich. You got fries and coleslaw and thing. They'd love, the sweet chili out, with on the spaghetti with cheese and the beans and onions.
Oh, yeah.
Although my breath is kicking right now, Tommy. I had those onions.
Breaking ball low and away. And it's ball 1 to Brandon Phillips. Brandon started that 3-run second inning with a 1-out single, stole a base.
There we go. See, she's got the coney right there. Which those are always good too. The onions, she looks like she's got the cheese, onion, and mustard going.
We've already heard from your good friend, Matt Vasgersian, back at the MLB Network. He says he's loving the Casey Brenneman team, much like Hall and Oates.
Oh, I love Matty Vasgersian, man. He's one of the best. I absolutely love him.
What a guy.
Love being on air with him. He loves you, too. He is always going, "Hey, pal."
He's a good man. He's a good man. We had a lot of laughs together when Matt was in the Padres, and I was out in Arizona. And saw him, in fact. He came in. You guys did that 30 days.
30 clubs in 30 days.
30 clubs in 30 days, and he was out in Goodyear.
Oh, yeah.
With the Reds.
Yeah, he was out there for a while. He does a great job. He's funny, man. His humor's he's too smart for me at times, though. I don't get his humor.
Low and away, 2 balls and a strike to Phillips. Now, you brought up earlier when Phillips was at first, he just went on the first move of Howe and stole second base. With a left-hander on the mound, is that pretty much what you have to do?
Pretty much. And if you're going to steal the base, first movement, you got to go. You just, you got to read it. If he picks you off, he picks you off. But as soon as that leg comes up, bam, you're gone. You know, one thing about, Brandon Phillips, Votto obviously wins the MVP. Jay Bruce has a huge year. They have guys swinging the bat. But Brandon, let's not forget about this guy. This guy could flat out pick it at second. Mark Berry was saying one of the best second basemen he's ever seen. Obviously, All-Star year, Gold Glove, and he can flat out swing it. So this is another huge piece of this lineup, Brandon Phillips.
It's remarkable, the run of second baseman from a defensive standpoint. And they didn't go back to back to back. But in terms of an extended period of time, I mean, Brett Boone, Pokey Reese, and now Brandon Phillips, hard to beat.
Hard to beat. They all remind each other of each other. That's what I'm trying to say. I just stumbled right there. But Pokey Reese and Brandon Phillips, were two of the best second basemen I've ever seen play. Pokey Reese played second, short right, a little bit of center. It was unbelievable. It was tough, though, because whenever he plays second, I sometimes didn't have to go to my right. And then when he left, then I was like, oh, I got to start going to my right again, because Pokey had that in his back pocket.
3-2 to Brandon. Stubbs running and fouled out of play.
Doc Hollywood's up here, huh? Dr. Kremchek is in the booth.
He's the man.
He is the man.
I've been joined at the hip with him for the better part of 7 months between a broken leg and a torn meniscus, my man.
Oh, man. When you have to hang out with Doc Kremchek too much, your body's not in good shape.
3-2 to count. Fouled away again.
I tell you what, I hang out with him a lot too. Shoulder surgery. He cleaned up my knee a little bit. I was always in there talking to him. Broke my thumb day before opening day. I was like, please tell me I can play tomorrow. I was like, no, you're off 4 weeks. I'm like, you're killing me.
He's the man.
He is the man.
Unextended at bat again here by Phillips. Reds are really making Happ throw a pile of pitches, 44 of them, and only one out here in the second inning. And there's the fourth walk of the game by Happ.
Like we said before, Tommy, they're grinding out at bats, and they're making Happ work, making him throw strikes. It looks like Happ's stuff tonight. Nothing's so nasty in the zone where they feel like, okay, he can get me with that. They're really making him work, making him throw strikes. And, he's not throwing strikes. They've gotten a lot of walks on him so far.
That's the thing that it's funny you bring it up, because that's the thing more than anything else that through 3 games and now 2 innings has stood out the most for me watching this team play.
Yeah.
Because they just did not walk consistently last year. There's a base hit into left field. Stubbs wasn't sure, so they're going to hold him up. Stubbs kicking himself down there at third.
Nice piece of hitting right there. This is why Joey Votto's the MVP of the league. This is not an easy pitch to hit, especially for a guy that drives the ball over the park. Ball's kind of down and away. What does he do? He lets the ball travel and lines it to left field. I mean, this is a nice piece of hitting right here. That ball is down and away, off the plate. Doesn't try to do too much. It stays on it, barrels it up, and get a line drive to left field. That's how you drive in over 100 runs a year. Obviously, Stubby didn't score there, but, that's how you do it.
Roland knocked in the game's first run with a single to center field an inning ago, and he's ahead in the count with the bases loaded and 1 out here. Ball 1.
You notice that time he didn't come with that first pitch fastball. I said, oh, yeah, I'm going to throw you a little first pitch slider. Now Scotty Rowland's back, still in the driver's seat at 1-0.
Two and 0. Brett Myers pitched a spectacular game. In fact, outpitched Roy Halladay on opening day in Philadelphia. The Phillies beat the Astros closer Brandon Lyon in the 9th inning, but the next 2 starters, Wandy Rodriguez and Bud Norris, were hit hard early in the game. 2-1 to Roland.
Well, Brett Myers, since he's come to Houston, has really found his spot in the rotation. Had an unbelievable season last year, and has really been the horse. And they had that game 1 in opening day. They just, blew it there at the end.
2-2.
That's really a pitcher's pitch right there. You know, Scotty's looking for something out over the plate, something he can drive. That's really more of a kind of a cut fastball in. He didn't feel like he could get his arms extended on.
Two and two to roll him with the bases loaded and 1 out. Foul out of play. Popped it up behind the plate, and room for the catcher, Quintero. And that's a big second out for Happ.
That ball just got in there on roll a little bit. He just couldn't get his arms extended. The ball kind of kept chasing him. This is the most helpless feeling as a hitter. Bases loaded, 1 out. You know, you really just got to get the ball to the outfielder, put the ball and play hard. You know you're in the driver's seat, and when you foul out, there's nothing worse than when you pop it up. You're just standing there at the plate. Nobody advanced. I'm about to be out here. It's foul. I can't even hustle down the first, Tommy.
Well, this is where the Reds really set the tone early last year, and more times than not, it was Gomes who was delivering with 2 outs. Gomes was the best hitter in the National League through the month of June, with runners in scoring position and runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Now, those career numbers at 274, but he was up over 400 for the better part of 2.5 months.
Nice changeup right there. Hey, listen, he was definitely a guy last year, and I think you're going to see this year too, that pitchers do not want to see come to the plate. I mean, Johnny Gomes, if there's RBIs out there, he sniffs them out and gets them in. I mean, he finds a way to drive those runners in.
Fastball up and in. 2 balls and a strike. Stubbs at third, Phillips at second with Votto at first and 2 out. Ball 3. Gomes will come out of his shoes if this fastball is anywhere near the strike zone.
He might fall over here. If it's out over the plate, he's taking a hack.
He takes a walk, and Happ can't believe it. It is a 4-0 game. Gomes has walked twice in this game and 7 times already this year.
That's impressive, especially with his approach. I mean, it looks like he's ready to just wail away at anything, and to have all those walks and have that approach. That's why a guy like Johnny Gomes, you're starting to see the more he gets in the lineup, the more comfortable he gets up there, and the more times he gets on base.
Now Chris Heisey's turn with the bases loaded. He walked his first time up. That is a foul.
That looked fair. From here, at least.
You're right, it did.
It really did.
Let's take a look. A foul ball.
Oh, just foul. See, that's why we're up here, Tommy, and the umpires are down there.
You know, it's amazing statistically. And when we get these things at the end of every year, it is absolutely staggering how right the umpires are compared to the other sports. I mean, they're up over whether it's balls and strikes or calls on the bases, fair balls, foul balls. They're up in the 97th percentile as Heisey's hit on the left hand. And that'll bring in a 5th Reds run. More importantly, we hope that Dr. Kremchek doesn't have to go downstairs to take a look at Chris Heisey.
Looks like Hatch just said, swing my hand. Let me see how that See how that feels. Listen, it only feels a little bit better because if you wear it like that and you know you got an RBI coming in, it makes you feel a little bit better. But it definitely hurts to do it. I mean, High's, Hap's been trying to come in, and right there he came a little too far in, but, you'll take him if it's an RBI situation, but that hurts.
Reds have scored 4 times already in this game without a hit.
As a hitter, when you see Hap just keep coming in and in and in, you start looking for that ball and maybe cheating a little bit in and trying to get him out of there.
5 walks and a hit batsman in the air and playable for Wallace and foul ground, and he nearly dropped it. And Hap having a few words with the umpires. He makes his way back to the dugout. Reds get 2 more and lead 5-0. Brad West of Fairfield, who currently drives a 2006 4Runner, will win that beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark, and you can register for your chance to win it by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. A lot of folks anticipating the arrival of Sean Casey. He'll be here tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday afternoon right here on Fox Sports Ohio in the broadcast booth. And we're thrilled to have you, big man.
Oh, Tommy, it's great to be back. Believe me, I love it. I love being up here with you. Your dad just walked in trying to bury us. We buried him, told him to get out of here.
Well, he made the comment when he walked in here a minute ago that when you were a player here, that you were the first person he can ever remember that called him
cantankerous. He was, like only your dad could do. I think I had a bad game, and he's, just burying me on the air. Like, oh man, I can't remember what he said, but I had to call him out after the game. I'm like, come on, Marty, you're too cantankerous out there. He's like, what? I love your dad, though, man. All those years, he's a fixture here in Cincinnati, and he is really an icon.
Well, I know, obviously, he feels the same way about you and all the great times that you guys had together. You played so many years here in Cincinnati. Well, that's a nasty pitch right there by Leak. He tied up Quintero 2-1.
That's his bread and butter. The little sinker right there, that's Mike Leake's bread and butter.
Quintero then the pitcher spot, and Hap is in the on-deck circle. They had to use so much bullpen in Philadelphia, even with an off day yesterday. Astros are going to, it appears anyway, give Hap a chance to stay in there.
you get in a situation as a manager, Brad Mills looks at it and says, okay, we've given a five runs, Hap. He's walked a bunch of guys, but we can't waste our bullpen right now. We got to see if Hap can settle in, get a couple more innings, and then get to our pen. You can't burn it right now at the beginning of this series.
Well, the Reds, the Phillies, the Orioles, and the Rangers are the only unbeaten teams remaining in Major League Baseball. Philadelphia trailing big to the Mets 6-0 in the third inning, and there's a leadoff walk to Quintero. Not exactly what Leake had in mind with a 5-0 lead in the third. The senior days are back. We invite you to come on down to Great American Ballpark day after tomorrow, Thursday. Our senior ticket offer presented by Tri-State Centers for Sight. All Reds fans 60 and older may buy non-premium tickets at half price in advance of game day only. And again, that's a 12:35 start. 381 Reds or Reds.com. Bunted foul.
Now, if you're Mike Leake, too, when your team comes out and gives you 5 runs, gives you 2 runs again in the bottom half, you want to come out and put another 0 up. You know, send the message, hey, listen, you got me some runs, and reward those guys on offense with another 0. So, you know, to open up the inning with a walk and then have Hap coming up and you know he's laying down a bunt. You know, they'd like to get out of this inning with another 0.
Votto very aggressive. He thought about it and takes the out at first base.
That's a play right there where, you know, Votto did the right thing. Obviously charges hard, knowing Hap's button, charges hard, gets there fast. You see that? Makes a nice turn. Doesn't have Quintero at second base, so just get it out of here. You've got 5-0 in the third inning. You don't need to make a big inning here. You try and maybe make a play right there at second. Don't get him. Now you got first and second, no outs. Take the out at first. Even if this run scores, let's get out of the inning with only minimal damage.
Back to the leadoff man, Michael Bourne. He hit a sharp ground ball right at Brandon Phillips leading off the game. This one lofted towards Johnny for out number 2. So 2 away, a runner at second for Angel Sanchez. He looked at strike 3 in the first inning. Talked about the Astros at 0-3, the Reds at 3-0. The Cubs went to 3-2. They beat Arizona for a second straight day today, 6-5. The Cardinals were 1-3, having dropped 2 out of 3 to open the season against San Diego, then lost to the Pirates last night. They'll play in just a little while. Milwaukee 0-4.
Wow. I mean, a lot of people are picking Milwaukee to win the Central, so for them to be 0-4 is a big early surprise.
Well, you know, you guys kicked around a lot at the MLB Network, you know, who you thought would win the division. And I know a lot of guys around there very much like Milwaukee, right?
A lot of guys like Milwaukee. With the addition of Greinke and Markham, you know, you already have Wolf and Gallardo. They feel like with the offense they have and, you know, with Hart and Fielder and Braun, you know, you got enough there, you know, have a chance to really win that Central.
Well, another walk in the inning, and again, not what Mike Lead had in mind at all. I mean, you got the number 2 hole hitter up there in Sanchez with 2 away. And by walking him, now all of a sudden you bring Hunt Pence to the plate, who with 1 crack of the bat can get Houston right back in this game. Pence, a native Texan, grew up in Arlington. That's just outside of Dallas. Went to Arlington High School and played at the University of Texas at Arlington. Very competitive player. Talked about his high energy. Very aggressive, all-out approach. 0-1 delivery. Fouled out of play. Fans love this guy in Houston.
When you come to the ballpark, you know what you're getting from Hunter Pence. He's going to play all out every time, full tilt, and obviously he's a great player. He drives the ball to all fields, makes all those diving plays out in the outfield. He's a fun guy to come watch, and he's really the mainstay in this lineup on this team with him and Carlos Lee there at 3-4.
Oh, and 2 on Pence, 2 on, 2 out. Fastball up and in, he doesn't chase it.
One thing you notice with Mike Leake, he doesn't live in that middle of the plate. He lives sinker in, cutter away, sinker in, cutter away. And that's where he works, and he works well. When he gets caught out over the plate there, that's when he can get into trouble because his velocity isn't that high. But when he can start that ball on the plate and really run it in on hitters, that's a tough ball to adjust to as a hitter.
Leake trying to put this Houston third inning on ice. The 1-2 up and away. Reds got 3 in the first inning, 2 in the second. And a pair of walks giving Houston a chance to crawl back in this thing with 2 outs here in the third. 2 and 2 on Hunter Pence.
Mike Leake really in damage control mode here, trying to make that one pitch, has a couple walks this inning, just trying to get out of this without really getting hurt, without getting hurt at all. So right now he knows he just needs to make one pitch and make it good on Pence.
Got him swinging, and he makes it good indeed. 2 men left, middle of the third. Reds 5, Houston nothing. Our Meyer text poll question tonight. What division do you think the National League wild card will come from? 1 the East, 2 the Central, 3 the West. Text your answer to 37664. Standard texting rates do apply. What do you think, Sean Casey?
I think it comes from the East. I think it's the Phillies. I picked the Braves to win the East. I really think they got a good club over there. They're getting overlooked. I think the Phillies come out of there with the wild card.
Okay.
What do you think, Tommy?
That's not a bad bet. I mean, there's no way I'm going to pick anybody but the Phillies to win. the East, only because I know they're nicked up offensively and all that kind of stuff. But, man, that quartet at the front of the rotation is hard to pick again. But I understand what you're saying about Atlanta. You know, I think a couple of the teams out west are better than people think. I know we're only, 3-4 games into the season. One team I saw over the weekend, very impressive. Their strike three to Paul Giannis. That'll be interesting to see if their bullpen can do what they did last year and so many young starters in their rotation. But I think San Diego's better than people think.
I think they are too. I totally agree with that. I think their staff's still good. Obviously, Latos is a little banged up. But anything with Buddy Black and pitching, that combination, it's pretty good. So I agree. I think San Diego's pitching is still pretty good out there.
Of course, Colorado, a lot of people think that they're a very good club. We'll see. We'll see.
That's where, obviously you got Cargo, you got Tulowitzki in the middle of that lineup. When you got two MVP candidates, you're a good club, but I don't know if their pitching's there.
Of course, the Dodgers open the year by beating the defending world champion Giants 3 out of 4. Giants are trailing in San Diego's home opener 3-1. That game in the bottom of the 5th inning today. Aaron Harang, by the way, is pitching that game today for San Diego. Check swing and a miss by a Leak. I had a chance to visit with Bud Black just the other day, and he said, hey, look, all we need Aaron Harang to do is what John Garland did for us last year. A lot of innings, just pitch like he's pitched for a long time, and our ballpark can be very forgiving.
Exactly. When you pitch that park, a fly ball here to right center is an out there. And that gets you out innings. That doesn't extend innings. For a guy like Aaron Harang, who is fly ball pitcher, that park could help him out tremendously.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Jay Happ. His first 2 in the game to start the 3rd inning. Well, we take a look at the National League Central Division we talked about a moment ago. Presented by Honda, the Pirates. Now, you live in Pittsburgh, and, let's face it, it's been a long, long time since they've had a competitive club. They haven't had a team finish over 500 since the early 90s. But new manager there, Clint Hurdle, a very optimistic guy. He's going to ask your team to play hard at all times. 3 out of their first 4.
That's the biggest thing I see. John Russell was kind of a quiet guy, not a big energy guy. Clint Hurdle, exact opposite. Big energy guy, brings a lot of positive energy, Tommy. Really, we can do. What can we do? Let's not talk about what we can't do. Let's talk about what we can do. And he brings that attitude. I worked on a little bit of MLB Network, and he's a great guy, Clint. Does he have the horses is the question. Is the rotation good enough? They got a lot of good young players, position players, but as well as I do, when you're at the big league level, starting pitching wins for you. But no doubt there's a better vibe there in the clubhouse, and Clint Hurdle brings that every day for that club. They need a much-needed lift.
Well, running neck and neck between the East and the Central Division so far in our text poll question. Hunter Pence couldn't find it, and by the time he does, he can't get there. That's a foul ball.
You got this sky right here that's it's just about to get dark, and it looks like he just lost it. Bad. Nothing more frustrating as a player is when the ball goes up and you just can't find it, and you don't know where it is, and then it comes down at about 5 feet over your head. It's never a good feeling.
2-2 delivery on Stubbs, and a roller is foul. Still 2-2 to Stubbs, who bounced out to short in the first inning, singled to left and scored in the second. Red scored 3 runs on only 2 hits in the first, scored 2 runs with only 2 hits in the second. Just off the corner, and Happ was on his way to the dugout, thinking that was strike 3. He clearly has had some issues with the balls and strikes tonight.
sometimes you start chirping to the umpire. You start making those movements on the mound to show them, hey, where was that pitch? It doesn't go to your favor. And those umpires, especially in the big leagues, they'll really start squeezing you when you start, your body language starts being bad.
Straight away center field. Happ gives them a 1-2-3 third. So we move on to the fourth inning at Great American Ballpark, where the Reds lead the Astros 5-0. Restaurants, schools, retailers, and our military around the world. JTM Food Group. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Sonic, America's Drive-In. It's new, it's better, it's new. Sonic Good. Along the banks of the mighty Ohio. Welcome you back to Great American Ballpark in our Champion Windows broadcast booth, where Sean Casey is in for this entire series here on Fox Sports Ohio. And you'll be doing some more games throughout the summer, right?
Yeah, I'm doing 15 games this year.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. So I'm enjoying it, man. Like I said, it's so good seeing you. It's so good being back here in Cincinnati and just seeing everybody. This was home for me. I grew up here.
Well, when a ball player stays in a town as long as you do, there are a lot of folks that want to know out there, what about your kids and your family? How old's everybody? How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing great. Andrew and Jacob, my two boys that were born here in Cincinnati. Andrew's is 9 years old, 9.5. Jacob's 8 years old. And then I have a little girl, Carly, who was born right before I got traded. And she's 5. And then I have a little girl, Jillian, whose birthday is today. She's 1 today, Tommy. So I'm sitting here hanging out with you while my family's blowing out candles back in Pittsburgh.
You going to sing happy birthday to her?
No, you do that. You can do that later for us, like the 7th. Yeah, Jillian.
Well, she's asleep, though, now.
Yeah,
she's asleep all the time.
She always sleeps. Yeah, she better be sleeping. So 4 kids, man, we're doing great.
Oh, good for you guys. Down the right field line, and that is a foul ball off bat of Bill Hall. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question tonight. Getting good at trivia, Sean?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
All right, we'll find out. What was Sean Casey's high mark in stolen bases in a season? I know you know this one.
I
right?
do know this one because it wasn't many, but I know it.
Now, we understand there is actually a story about this
I
that
know
relates
the story.
to the broadcast booth, right?
Yes, with George and Chris.
Yes, George Grant and Chris Welsh. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bill Hall. And before we go any further, did they pay up or not?
You know what? I think I lost. I think I paid
They
up.
said that you won.
Oh, yeah. know what? I did win that year. I did lose a couple other years, though. I think we had the same bet the next year, and I lost. But, yeah, that's right. I did win it, and they did pay up. They did pay up.
Okay, we'll get into that here in just a second.
Betting with those guys.
It was a pizza, right? You
yeah,
got
it was
pizza.
A big pizza in Chicago. They brought me a big deep dish pizza.
Nice. You share it with anybody?
No, I crushed myself. You know, they got that sauce on top there in Chicago.
2-2 all.
I was boxing everybody out, Tommy. The large pizza came, and I just started throwing my arms up.
Take it back to your room and put the double lock on, right?
Yeah, that's what I did. I think I ordered a side chicken wings, too, for myself.
2-2 to Hall. And a two-hopper in Giannis. 2 away. Leak is 1-2, Fan 2. He's only allowed 1 base hit. That was a 2-out single to the man who bats now, Brett Wallace, back in the 2nd inning.
You know, when you pitch the way Mike Leake does, to have this defense around you, Roland, Giannis, you know, Phillips, Votto in the infield, you really, you know, let the ball work in the zone. Let them hit ground balls to these guys. These guys are going to gobble it up. I mean, you got gold all over the place in that infield.
One and one to Wallace. '59th pitch of the game for Leake, and here we are in the 4th inning. And it's 2-1 on Wallace. Astros went to spring training having Carlos Lee work a little bit at first base. They wanted Wallace to go out and win the job so Lee could play left field, but it wasn't a guarantee. What's guaranteed is he's thrown out by Giannis, and we move on to the bottom of the 4th. Reds in front, 5-0. Sean Casey and stolen bases.
I think it was 4. I know it was. 4, there it is. And I think the over-under was 3 with Welsh and George Grant. And as soon as I got that 4th bag, I think I looked up at the booth. I was like, give me my pizza.
Order it up now.
Order that pizza.
Very, very nice. 4 of them. Well, your guys back at MLB Network, they are hooting and hollering right about now after seeing that, aren't they?
Oh, they're hooting. Oh, they're burying me. They're blowing on my phone. Al Leiter and Vasquez and Harold, they're crushing me.
Well, you work with a great bunch of guys. We were talking before. Dan, please have
is the
Harold
best.
Reynolds, Al Leiter, Matt Vasquez, and there are others, but Mitch Williams.
Kevin Millar.
Yeah, Kevin. Oh, another guy, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that is a really good group of guys.
You know, Tony Bettini, John Henson, those guys, they've done a great job of bringing in the right guys. For what they want as as far as analysts go. The great guy. You know what's been great, Tommy, is after leaving the game in 08 and then joining MLB Network, it's kind of kept me in the game and kept me around good guys. So when I go up to MLB Network, it feels like, hey, I'm part of a team. Right. You have that camaraderie, and it's been great. I think it shows on TV. I think we kind of bring the fan into the clubhouse. We're joking around, but also giving some good analysis. I think if you want baseball, it's a great place to come.
Of course, I think Al Leiter's first taste of broadcasting was when he joined Steve Lyons and me in the 2003 National League Championship Series. That's under the glove of Sanchez. Probably doesn't throw Phillips out even if it's fielded cleanly, and I'm sure they'll score that, I would think. A base hit. I don't know. We'll see.
That's definitely a hit right here. I mean, this is in the hole. I don't think he doesn't throw him anyhow. He doesn't have the right angle. Watch Sanchez right here. Kind of tries to get it, ends up hitting his foot. There's no way he's throwing out Brandon Phillips right here. His momentum's going to third base. There's no way he throws out Phillips. That's definitely a hit. This is when, as a hitter, you're kind of still checking the scoreboard, trying to stay in the game. You want to see if you got a hitter there.
Well, it is a hit, and that is a hit. Driven into right center field, and Votto's going to get his first RBI of the night. Phillips being waved around, and he will score on a double by Joey Votto. And the Reds now lead 6-0.
Does it again, jumps in that first pitch. Look at this ball down, down out over the plate. But just like he did the last time up, lines on the left field. This time, lines in the right center gap. This is why Joey Votto is so good. He plays really with that center field, the right center, left center gap. That's where his swing goes. That's where his money is made. And it's impressive to see. But look how he stays out on the ball. That ball's down. This is not an easy pitch. Lefty on lefty. He stays in there. Not a ton of rotation, but Joey Votto uses his hands so well to stay through the zone. That's why he's able to drive the baseball even when he's out on his front side.
Strike one to Roland. Votto's been on base 3 times. Phillips has been on base 3 times. Roland has knocked in a run. Gomes has been on twice. Heisey has been on twice.
We're only in the 4th. You know what? When you look at this lineup, you really, you start to think, wow, they've done a great job putting this team together. I mean, Walt Johnny has done a great job of really putting this team together because they're tough outs. I mean, these guys are putting together great at bats. They're making Hap work all night long and making him make pitches, and it's a tough lineup to face, top to bottom.
I think that's the thing that for a lot of people nationally who notice the Reds, understandably so, for the first time last year, but then when they're making their picks in the Central this year, we have no idea how this season will play out. The Reds can't play any better than they've played, really, for the first 3.5 games of a year. They're off to a great start, and we'll see how it plays out. It's in the air for Bourne, called off by Pence for out number 1, but you and I were talking in between innings. I think a lot of people have really not taken a look at this club as a team. This is a really, really good team. They have a number of players that can do a number of things very, very well.
They really do. I mean, we talked about before, we were talking about the break, the defense. I mean, let the pitcher just let them put it in play. They'll make the plays for you. They'll get you out innings. Jay Bruce making that play in the foul ball the other night, get you out of an inning. I mean, these guys are a great team. They take on the personality of Dusty Baker. They have a lot of fun. They get along great. They can swing. They got great start pitching, and their bullpen's legit too. Johnny Gomes with a drive to center, but I don't think tonight that's going to get out of here.
Summertime. I'll have to wait for the summertime. Votto will tag up and advance on to third.
You know, that cold air tonight, a little brisk, but Johnny Gomes, when usually you can look at a hitter and find out what's going on. When he hit that ball, he thought he got it. He really did. His reaction was, oh, I got that one. But, you know, when you get a night like tonight that's a little colder, right here, he thinks he got it. And right there, he thinks he got it. And, you know, when he saw Bourne backing up to the track, he knew he did, and that's never a good feeling right there, Tommy. Nice swing, though, right there by Johnny Gomes.
Well, now Heisey looks at a pitch in the dirt. The Reds already this year. Here we are in the middle of the fourth game. They have 16 runs batted in with 2 outs in an inning. 2 of them tonight. Coming into play today, no one else in the National League had reached double digits yet. And the Reds already with 16 2-out RBIs.
I mean, that says a lot about the character of the club. These guys want to be up in that situation with 2 outs. They're coming up clutch with some clutch hits. That's how you win ball games, and that's how they did it last year too. Those 2-out RBIs and the late inning wins.
And there's another one.
There's another one.
Chris Heisey, a 2-out run scoring single. That's 17 2-out RBIs now for the Reds this year, and a 7-0 lead.
And this kid can hit. When this is your 4th outfielder, you know you're pretty deep when Chris Heisey's your 4th outfielder. Look at that. That ball's down, and look at his swing. Watch his back elbow rotation. Hands come through. Look at that. Look at that coverage on the plate right there. Right down through the ball. His head stays down on it. That's a nice piece of hitting right there. I love Chris Heisey as a hitter. This kid is going to be a great big league ball player.
I'm with you.
I love, too, if you watch him, too, he's got that little double toe tap. He taps down, gets him started. Another tap gets him going.
I want to ask you about where Heisey grew up, because you're a Pennsylvania guy, and you know what it must be like for him. Dusty Baker says all the time, the thing I love about Heisey is he plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Meaning he was a 17th round draft pick out of Messiah College in Pennsylvania. You ever heard of Messiah College?
I'd never heard of it until I talked to him. I'm like, hey, where'd you go to college, man? Arizona State. He's like, no, Messiah. I'm like, what is that? So, I mean, you know what? It's impressive. Chris Heisey, these are the kind of guys that do well in the big leagues. I mean, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He comes out there, has something to prove, and he's proven it year in and year out that he's a great ball player.
To the shortstop, and that will end the inning. But the Reds get 2 more. We go to the 5th. 7-0 our score.
Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Reds game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices, wherever that device is. With MLB.tv Premium, you can enjoy HD quality home and away coverage, multi-game view, and the ability to pause and rewind live games. Visit Reds.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
Wow.
How about that right there, Tommy? I nailed that, brother.
Very nicely done. See, now when you go back to Mascursion and the boys,
right,
they got to start throwing you a few more bones, right?
Yeah, exactly. They got to throw me more bones. If they're listening, they know I just nailed that one right there, and I can do the promos.
Now, Matty D, hey, pal.
Hey, pal.
You better get him some more bones. 7-0 ball game as we open the 5th inning. Now, are they watching? I mean, you're in and out. So now back in the studio, because you guys go on the air, for the big show at the end of the night for all the highlights. What time Eastern time?
Well, we go on at 7. We're on from 3 to 1 in the morning. Really, those are our hours this year. But we really, we get things going about 7 o'clock, and we go till 1 o'clock. So I mean, they bounce in and out of games. They've probably been in here. The Herald's told me they were on us a couple times. So hopefully we said some good stuff, Tommy.
All right. Well, we'll find out. I mean, I know we will hear from those guys. You certainly will throughout the night. Ooh, that's not good. And that got Chris Johnson. The umpire's bringing it back, saying, no, that hit your back. And Johnson said it hit me in the head. And here comes Brad Mills. And Mills pleading his case to Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire.
He's got to get help here, Andy Fletcher.
And he's going to ask the first base umpire, Tim Welke, the crew chief, if he had a better look at it. And they're saying a helmet first base. That's good work by the umpires.
Yeah, might as well try and get it right, and put your pride aside and get it right. But it definitely hits him in the helmet. I'm pretty sure. Did he? Yeah, I got him in the helmet. I think it grazes his helmet. Yeah,
it did.
Got him in the helmet.
Our Performance Honda Exmo camera slowing it down for you at home.
Tim Welke, obviously one of the best umpires in baseball, been around a long time.
Nice group of guys. This particular crew had to go down to say hello to him before the ball game. There you get a look at Mike DeMuro over at third base.
One thing about the umpires, Tommy, obviously my mayor nickname, I was talking to not only the players but also the umpires all the time over there at first base. Listen, these guys have a job to do. They're a great bunch of guys. They're professionals, and guys don't get to take a chance to really get to know them personally. I was fortunate enough at first base to be able to have those conversations, but over the years you really do get to know those guys, and there's some good people.
Oh, real good people. In fact, the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher, he was doing a little celebrating today. He is a graduate of UConn, and his Huskies winning the national championship of college basketball last night.
How about that? Well, I was really rooting for the Richmond Spiders who got to the Sweet 16. That's where I went to
college. Those are your guys.
Yeah. So
well, VCU is in Richmond.
Oh, VCU went to the Final Four. They're in Richmond. They were kind of, the sister team, but, the team I was really rooting for was the Spiders.
Sure.
How did Ohio University do this year?
Well, not this year. No, it had a good year, but not good enough to get to the tournament. Beat Georgetown last year, first round.
Oh, yeah, that was legit.
Yeah.
You have something to be proud of.
Absolutely.
He's trying the hurry-up rule. Get back in the box. Brad Mills is having none of that.
Well, it's been a frustrating night for J-Hap, the pitcher. We've talked about already numerous occasions tonight. Pitches he thought were strikes were called balls.
It seems like little things, Tommy, but that's the kind of stuff when your manager's got your back, even on a situation like that where the umpire's telling you to get back in the box and Brad Mills comes out and says something to Andy Fletcher. As a player, it makes you feel good. It might seem little, but that's something where all right, I get in a situation where I'm getting into it with the umpire. I know the manager, Brad Mills especially, has got my back and is going to come out and say something.
Strike three.
Nice piece of pitching right here. It's like a little cutter right there, outside half. That pitch starts kind of down the middle and runs right at the end. You see that rotation right there? A little dart on it, a little cutter away. And, Mike Leake does that for you. he's 88, he's 86 to 88, 89. As a hitter, you think, oh, I should be crushing this guy. But when somebody has late movement, like he's like poor man's Greg Maddux, he's got that little late movement in the zone. I always feel like great pitchers and great hitters, their money's made in that last 3 feet. And Mike Leake really has a lot of run in that last 3 feet, whether it's cutting or sinking. He really makes the ball have a lot of good action late. Like right there, when you foul it off your knee, that's usually because it's a lot of late action. But if you look here at this strikeout pitch to Quintero, watch this ball starts down the middle. So as a hitter, you say, Quintero says, oh, I got it right here. But watch the end right there. See that little cut? See that cut fastball right there? Now it's just a tough pitch to read. When it's coming in, it looks like it's right down the middle. You commit. As soon as you commit, Leake has that nice late, that last 3 feet. That's where he gets his run. He gets that nice cutter right there and gets the strikeout.
Fly ball off the bat of the pinch hitter Joe Inglet to Johnny Gomes, and there are 2 out in the inning. So Happ goes 4 innings tonight, allows 7 hits and 7 earned runs. He walked 5, struck out 2, and hit a batter. So 3 disappointing starts consecutively for the Astros. Happ tonight, and the last couple of days against the Phillies, Wandy Rodriguez and Bud Norris after a spectacular opening day start by Brett Myers. And by the way, the Reds will see Myers here on Thursday afternoon. Edinson Volquez against Nelson Figueroa here tomorrow night. And then Sam LeCure makes his first start of 2011 against Myers at 12:35 Thursday. 1-1 to Michael Bourne. Then, of course, for the first time all year, the Reds will take to the road. They'll play 3 in Arizona, the Diamondbacks home opener on Friday, and then go from there 3 games against San Diego.
This is a great time to go out to Arizona and San Diego. First month of the season, you want to get out west. You want to get out to Arizona, out to San Diego, where you feel like you're back at spring training, get that warm weather again. And especially this is the time to do it in April.
Bourne turns on that pitch and hammers it down into the right field corner. Heisey trying to get there quickly. They're going to hold the runner at third as he hits a cutoff man Phillips. That'll be a double by Michael Bourne.
It's like a pitch right there. Just see that backed up right there. It was a cutter, maybe a little slider. It backed up, doesn't have that same run late. Those are the pitches you get to. Michael Bourne does a good job, pulls his hands inside it, and it makes a nice play to a nice drive to right field. But Heisey makes a nice job of getting in that ball, getting it in, and holding up Johnson at third base. Now here's another situation we were talking about before, Tommy. 2nd and 3rd. A situation where Mike Leake says, all right, I got to make one more pitch, damage control, get out of this inning.
Angel Sanchez, the batter, he is struck out and walked. Got him on a breaking ball, strike 1. Fastball misses away, and this is clearly the guy Leake's going to go after. I mean, the Reds have dominated this game right from the start. 7-0. We're in the top of the 5th inning. But you don't want Hunter Pence up there with the bases loaded. And he will bat with the bases loaded, or at least with 1 on. 2-run single by Sanchez to make it a 7-2 ball game.
That's not a bad pitch right there. He gets this pitch is look at that, cutting away, blows him up, gets him off the end of the bat. It's just one of those things where you get off the end of the bat, you bloop it into right field. Nothing he could do there. But Mike Lee made the pitch he wanted to make. He had it on the outside corner, it ran away, and Sanchez was just able to get that broken bat single to right. Better to be lucky than good sometimes, Tommy.
Well, now Pence. Pence 0 for 2 is lined out to Heisey and right and struck out swinging, stranding 2 in the third inning. Get a look at the pitch count for Leake. A little higher than where he'd want it to be, and that, of course, is thanks in large part to the third inning and now in the fifth, but this should do it in the fifth. Johnny Gomes underneath it and waiting, and that is that. Houston gets a pair, and in the middle of the fifth, the Reds have a 5-run lead. Of course, who's never spent a single day in minor leagues, went straight from Arizona State right to the Reds. And that's a goal, to never go to the minors. I've got to start off on a good foot and prove to people that I belong. Well, he raced out of the gate last year at 6-0. As we mentioned earlier, the Reds knew how much he had pitched at Arizona State as a senior. So they really kept an eye on the number of pitches he threw last year, where his innings count was. And eventually he had a little shoulder fatigue that put him on the DL through the middle of August for nearly a month till the middle of September. Pitched a little bit out of the bullpen. That one pulled foul, and you know, strangely enough, there was a chance that Leake was on his way to the minor leagues this year had everybody stayed healthy. Now, nobody knows for sure because both Johnny Cueto and Homer Bailey both starting this year on the DL, and everybody was duking it out for that final spot in the rotation. But Homer Bailey out of options, so more than likely Bailey would have been penciled in and Leake would have gone to Louisville.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing. Nice piece of hit by Giannis. Get down. Nope.
Bourne will go get him with the best of them.
But that's the one thing about this team now, the Cincinnati Reds. When you talk, hey, what do the Reds do? So, well, you know what? They have depth in starting pitching. You know, you're about to send Mike Leake to the minors. You know how many teams would like to have Mike Leake in their rotation? A ton of them. You know, so now you got an injury here. It's the first time in years where the Reds can say, okay, we have a plethora of starting pitching. And, you know, the fact that you say a couple guys go down, Cueto goes down, Homer Bailey goes down, hey, we got a guy like Mike Leake we can plug right into the rotation.
Benuri Rodriguez takes over on the mound, replacing Happ. And delivers a strike to Leake. Rodriguez, 23 years old. There's a bunt by Leake. He can run. We talked about it, and he legs it out for a bunt hit.
That's impressive right there. Look at this, like a Wally Bent. Boom, drops it down. He's done that before, probably in college. He's got the double ear flap helmet on.
Well, the former Notre Dame baseball coach who left Notre Dame to go to Arizona State, Pat Murphy, who coached so many great players at ASU. talked about Leake back when he was in college. He said, look, he was the best fielding shortstop, the best fielding third baseman, and one of the best hitters we had on the team.
That says a lot. And that, it's pretty impressive that, Murphy can say that about all the great things he does in college. And you know what? He's a pretty good big league pitcher, too. It's amazing that he's that good of an athlete. He can be a great shortstop, great third baseman, one of the better hitters. But you know what? He's also a big league pitcher. It's unbelievable to be that good of an athlete.
Drew Stubbs, 1 of 3, singled and scored, back in the second inning. Miguel Cairo is standing in the on-deck circle and would be batting for Brandon Phillips. Hopefully nothing happened to Brandon. We understand Jim Day has more. Jim?
Down here in the dugout, Brandon came up with us. He couldn't hear what they were talking about, but basically gave him the motion that, hey, I can't go anymore. Brandon just took all of his stuff, went down into the clubhouse. He was followed by trainer Paul Lassard. So that's probably not good news. We'll try to follow up later.
All right, Jim Day, thank you. That one shot into right field by Stubbs. Leake will go first to third. And here come the Reds again, already with 7 runs on the board.
Man, I like the way Drew Stubbs is swinging the bat. He got that one pitch before, lines at the left. This one he gets right here and lines at the right field. I mean, this is just a nice piece of hitting. Gets a ball out off the plate a little bit. Stays. Watch how late he lets the ball travel. Lets the ball travel late, catches it deep, lines at the right field. Great piece of hitting right there by Drew Stubbs. But he's going line to line. His first hit was down the left field line with the ball in. This one, ball away, lets it travel deep in the zone, rockets one to right field. Great, nice job right there.
Well, real good night for Brandon Phillips. Was on base all 3 times, 2 hits and a walk, stole the base and scored 3 runs. If we get any report from the Reds clubhouse, in addition to what Jim Day just told you, we'll let you know.
They don't need to lose him for an extended period of time. No. Like you said, he's a big piece of that lineup. Brandon Phillips brings a ton to the table night in and night out, offensively, defensively. So, to have him out for an extended period of time, hopefully it's nothing serious and he can get back in there soon.
Well, there's one thing among many things that Phillips has proven since he came to Cincinnati. He will play hurt. Played with a broken bone in his thumb last year. I mean, he's out there every night.
You know what? When you're in the dugout and you look at guys that go out there and they're hurt and they're still playing, you got nothing but respect for those guys. Hey, listen, the guy's trying to do what he can tonight to help us win, even though he's hurt and banged up. Those are the guys you want to go to battle with.
Nuri Rodriguez is a Rule 5 draft selection. Remember, the Reds had that situation with Jared Burton 4 years ago, where you get him from another team. You have to keep him on your major league roster the entire season, or you have to offer the player back to the team you got him from. Made his major league debut Saturday night in Philadelphia. Runner goes first to second, and a throw from his knees by Quintero is not in time. Stubbs has his second stolen base of the year.
It's nice to have this speed right here. Watch Stubbs gets a great jump, takeoff runner. Forget about this, but Quintero makes a great throw from his knees. Great pick right there by Billy Hall trying to get him, but you know what? Speed never goes into a slump, right? I mean, you got speed like Drew Stubbs, and you're able to make things happen like that. Now you got, second and third, 1 out. Votto on deck, and you're in a great situation here.
Breaking ball and a good one by Rodriguez. He gets ahead of Cairo, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The one thing Cairo knows, though, as a hitter here, usually with a base open, they might pitch around you. Not with Joey Votto on deck. With Votto on deck, Cairo knows they're still going to pitch to him. They're definitely trying to get him out. They don't want Votto to come to the play with the bases loaded.
Cairo will play Scott Rowland late in the game on Sunday. Got a run-scoring single. That one gets away from the catcher, and Leake stays put. those catchers are tough guys. That one got a piece of Quintero somewhere. He's hurt.
It's like, God, did it just catch him wrong in the glove hand? Or his knee? Listen, those guys back there get banged up all the time. I don't know how they do it. If I squatted down for 3 innings, my career would be over.
Two and two on Cairo. We'll do it again.
This is where they're stronger too, Tommy. You know, it's nice if a guy goes down like Brandon Phillips. You never want to see that, but to have a veteran guy like, you know, Miggy out here, Miguel Cairo, to step in, you know, he knows what's going on out there. He's been in this role before, and he plays a nice role coming off the bench there for the Reds.
We had so many big hits, so many big hits in 2010 for the Reds. High fly ball. This should be plenty deep enough to bring in the run. Bourne the catch. Leak will tag. Throw will go to the plate, but not in time. A good at bat there by Cairo to make it an 8-2 ball game.
Great at bat. He kept fighting off. The pitch before was kind of a pitcher's pitch. Slid it away, fought it off. But he, like we said before, Miguel Cairo knew that he was going to get pitched to, knew he was going to get a pitch that he could handle, and he did a great job of doing his job, not trying to do too much, getting that fly ball deep enough to the outfield to get a sac fly there.
So now Joey Votto, who walked and scored in the first, he singled in the second, knocked in a run with a double in the fourth, and scored again. Runner at second with 2 men out. Good fastball on the outside corner. Strike one to Joey.
I'll tell you what, when you watch Votto hit, you know, and talking to Joey too, a big thing with him is letting the ball travel, letting it get deep in the zone. That's why he's so good to left center. He lets that ball travel. He can still get inside that inside fastball at times and rocket it all over the place. But Joey Votto does such a good job of being calm in the box, letting the ball get deep, making decisions late. That's why he's obviously the MVP of the league and one of the best hitters in the game.
Turns on that pitch, a sinking liner and a diving catch by Pence to take away another hit for Votto. But the Reds get one back, and we move to the 6th. With Cincinnati in front 5-2.
Jim Day with you in the camera well right beside the Reds dugout. This is the radar gun, one of in-stadium radar guns. In case you're just joining us, not only is Sean Casey in the booth, but he threw out the ceremonial first pitch tonight. Told me on the pregame show that, hey, I'm not nervous about calling the game. I'm nervous about this first pitch. Now, granted, Case, you didn't go up on the mound, but you registered on this gun at 81. Which is pretty good.
That's really good.
I should have been a pitcher.
And it was a strike, too.
Hey, Joe Morgan was getting on me when we were going up there saying, hey, I should have thrown off the mound and stuff like that. Listen, Joe, I stopped pitching when I was 12-year-old traveling all-stars, okay? That's about just as far as they were at 12-year-old traveling all-stars. That's why I was 81 right there. I'll tell you what, I was nervous out there. I'd have rather got in the box and hit the ball somewhere.
Straight away center field. That one tagged by Carlos Lee, but not on this chilly night. In front of the wall, Stubbs will run it down, one away into sixth inning, but 81 miles an hour.
How about that, Tommy? I couldn't believe it. That's unbelievable. You know what? When I go to Cedar Point and those places with my kids, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, Kenny, with the, let's see what you got on the gun," and I get out there and I just throw it as hard as I can with 48, 50. I'm like, there's something wrong with these guns. I'm gonna have to tell those people I threw 81 at the Great American Ballpark.
I think there are something wrong with those guns.
Oh, there is.
Places.
I'm trying to win the big bunny with the pink bunny for my daughter.
Right.
I'm saying 75. It comes up 48. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Something's wrong with that gun.
No, if it's under 48 is when you get the pink bunny. Anything over, you get the yellow or the blue bunny, right?
Yeah. I'm not. My pride's not that high that I wouldn't mind going under 48 for the pink bunny.
Absolutely. For your daughter, anything.
For my
in
daughter,
the world.
anything. Yeah.
That's right. 0-1 Bill Hall, and now 0-2. Pirates in front of St. Louis, 2-0 that game in the third inning. San Diego leading the Giants in the eighth, 3-1. San Diego trying to go to 3-1 and send the defending world champions to 1-4 to begin the year.
Speaking of kids, I was down at spring training with the Reds for a week working with some guys and doing some things. And I brought my kids down there, Andrew and Jacob, and Barry Larkin, obviously, was one of my best buddies and was kind enough to work with the kids. And, we were taking ground balls every day. And Miguel Cairo and his son was out there, too, and it was great. And we were working in the cages, and Lark was doing some stuff with my older son, Andrew, and Jacob, my younger son. And so the next day, Lark's not there, but I'm with my son, Andrew, and I'm throwing him flips. I'm saying the exact same thing Lark said. Hey, get on your backside, rotate through. And so, 3 pitches in, he was like, I know, Dad. I know. I'm like... What do you mean you know? You're 9.
Right.
And I'm saying the same thing Barry Larkin said yesterday, but I guess because I'm Dad,
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's exactly right.
I guess he knows everything. He's 9.
Well, Barry Larkin and Sean Casey, not bad guys to get hitting tips from. But he's not looking at Sean Casey. He's looking at Dad. Right?
That's right. That's the problem.
Well, join the Reds Saturday, April the 16th. The Pirates will be here. Stick around after the game for a free post-game faith concert featuring Grammy-nominated artist Jeremy Camp. And that's presented by our friends from Presco. Plus, the first 20,000 fans at the gate get a 2011 team calendar. Call 381-REDS or visit reds.com. Four strikeouts in the game for Mike Leake. 2 down in the inning. Leake has only allowed 3 hits in the game. Astros getting a 2-out, 2-run single by Angel Sanchez in the 5th. There are only 2 runs tonight. Off the end of the bat, Stubbs is there, inning over. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The Reds lead by 6. 6th inning, and now it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Camp. Sean, I know you'll never forget this.
Oh, man, that was seriously one of the greatest moments of my career. I'm from Pittsburgh with the Reds, obviously, and there's Rick Stowe right there. But, it was the first hitting home run at PNC Park. I grew up going to games at Three River Stadium, so I left 70 tickets that day, Tommy.
70
yeah,
tickets.
Back then we had to pay for it, so that was good. I would have left 4 if we had to pay for it.
That was our Coors Light Freeze Camp, brought to you by Frost Brew Coors Light. So, for those of you at home, you can impress somebody tomorrow by saying, hey, you know who got the first ever hit and home run at PNC Park?
Yeah. Hey, how about the series before? I got the first hit ever at Miller Park.
That's right. That's right.
So, of all, I'm not in the Hall of Fame or anything like that, but my bat and ball are in the Hall of Fame for being the only player in Major League history to open up 2 parks with a hit.
That's something else.
I mean, I might be the only person that knows that in the nation, but that's okay.
That's exactly right. It's okay. Wilton Lopez, you see, takes over on the mound following Happ, who went 4 innings, allowed 7 runs. Rodriguez 1 inning, 1 run. And you got to look at that shot in the dugout. The night probably over for Mike Leake.
I would say he's done a pretty nice job tonight. Really did a great job of using both sides of the plate, that little cutter, sinker, change. He really had some great stuff tonight, and really had, and like we were saying before, a lot of late movement. Look at that, 6 innings, 3 hits, only 2 walks, and 4 punch-outs. So for me, he was, filling up the strike zone, making their hitters put the ball in play, letting his defense work behind them. A great night for Mike Leake. And he got on single too.
And scored a run.
Yeah.
Well, now it's 3 games in a row. Here the year begins with 2 of your starters on the 15-day disabled list, and both are expected back very soon. There's a sharp one hopper to the glove side of the new second baseman, who takes over for Houston. That's Matt Downs replacing Bill Hall.
You know what, Tommy? When you come in the game, the ball always finds you right away. Downs is in there probably trying to get loose, get his bearings, and Scotty Rowland hits an absolute miss to him at second base.
We're going to start to talk about the Reds here now after the struggles, the early struggles on opening day of Edinson Volquez, who settled down after the first 2 innings. But bottom line is, he expects better than 6 innings and 5 runs allowed, and he'll have a chance to turn that around here tomorrow night. But then Travis Wood comes back, allows 1 run in 7 innings in game 2. Arroyo, through mononucleosis and all, in the finale, gives you 7 innings of 3-run baseball. And now Leake tonight, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs.
And that's where you win. You win with your starting staff. But, Travis Wood is a great pitcher. Obviously, Bronson doing it with mono is pretty impressive. He does it every year, 200 innings. You can count on that. 15 wins. Mike Leake, just really painting the strike zone tonight. Cutter, sinker, using both sides of the plate. Eddie, Volquez really has great stuff too. I mean, he's probably the best stuff of anybody. I think the other night, those first couple of innings, his ball was just flat out over the plate. Just that's why he was getting hit so bad.
Gomes retired on strikes, and 2 are out. First start of the year for Heisey, and not a bad night. Threw a bases loaded walk, hit by a pitch to bring in another run, and picked up his 3rd RBI in the game with a single to left center field in the 4th inning. So how about that? Your 4th outfielder gets a start. He's 3 plate appearances and 3 batted in, and now has a potential another hit. No, another nice play by Pence. That's 2 of them tonight out there. So we march on to inning number 7, where the Reds lead the Astros 8-2. to you by AT&T. By Cincinnati Children's in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals. And by your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers. Reds 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 more in the fourth. Astros got a pair in the fifth. The Reds got 1 back in the bottom of that inning. And here we are at the end of 6. The Reds with an 8-2 lead and taking over for Mike Leake, who pitched so well, making his major league debut last year in 37 games for the Reds. Right-hander Jordan Smith. Like everybody agrees, watching this young man called up from Double-A, walked into big leagues. He is clearly not afraid. Got a lot of people out and got a lot of big outs for this Reds team last summer.
Got that great pitcher body too. Just a big guy. Just looks like he's coming right at you. I mean, just just got the typical big, good arm action.
I mean, it gives you an idea about how deep the Reds are from a pitching standpoint. You saw those numbers from Smith. He pitches nearly 40 games for a division-winning team with an ERA in the mid-3s. And he was sent out to the minor league camp with 2 weeks left to go in spring training. And then all of a sudden, when the Reds had their injury situation and having to move guys like Leake on the big league club for sure, LeCure goes from probably a spot as the long man into the starting rotation. And then the first guy they pick up and call back from the minor league camp is Jordan Smith.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the big thing is, you watch Jordan Smith right here. He gets that good torque right here and just has that good arm action. Look at him drive onto his front side, off his backside. And he's just a big guy with some great stuff. But I tell you what, that's the thing, Tommy, is for years and years and years we talked about the Reds haven't been deep in pitching. Now they are. I mean, now they're deep in their pen. They've done a great job developing guys in the minors, and they've done a great job of, having guys, when guys go down, they have guys that can come up and do well.
Ball hit hard into left center field, but out there to get it is Johnny Gomes, and there are 2 outs in the inning. Well, Sean, turn around. We have a bunch of students here. I'm being told it's amazing all of these people could find their way to the stadium. They're from Miami University in Oxford.
Oh, nice.
And most of those people can't spell cat, but they're all here.
Oh, that's a low blow. Why?
They know I'm kidding. I'm an Ohio University guy, and so you got to take that shot.
Yeah, I like that.
You know I'm kidding.
How
everybody out there, just relax. It's all in fun.
Yeah, I know you're just kidding, Tom.
They know that.
Yeah,
all of them know that. They know I'm kidding.
Well, I went to University
Except
of
for my friend Billy Hemmer. He was in town the other night, my old roommate, and he and I were together Friday night. I know he can't spell cat. That one grounded foul. And for those of you that don't know Bill Hemmer is on Fox News every day, the Fox News channel. And, of course, got to start right here in Cincinnati at Channel 5 and then Channel 9, and then off he went. CNN, and now with the big league club, Fox News. 0-2 on Matt Downs.
He's just trying to be like you, man. You're
Don't believe me. We're all playing catch up to him.
I see you everywhere. Not only during baseball season, you're on. You're doing football and rugby and soccer.
That's about right.
You're all over the place.
1-2 on Downs, batting for the first time. And a very impressive inning for Jordan Smith. One hard hit ball, but they're gone in order. They stand and stretch. Does that mean Casey singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"?
Does it really? I don't think so.
John Morrell, hot dog play of the game very early on in this one. Scott Rowland taking away a hit from Carlos Lee. Been doing this for about 15 years.
Yeah, he makes it look so easy, too. That's not an easy play. It goes to his left, ranges, but look how he gets it, gathers himself, and then hits Votto right in the chest.
Eight runs, 9 hits for the Reds. They've left 7. 2 runs, 3 hits, 4 left for Houston. Well, we understand from the head of the ballpark operations, our very good friend, Declan Mullen.
Oh, Declan
has told us that beginning tomorrow, the weather is expected to make a very nice turn for the better. Much warmer, lots of sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures up near 70 degrees. Pleasant night tomorrow night. On Thursday afternoon, right around 70 as well, with a slight, very slight, we're told, chance for rain. So tickets are available the next 2 games. Night game tomorrow night, 12:35 game on Thursday. Come on down.
That's great news. I remember when I was here with Declan, you know, you're in that rain delay mode, and Declan was the guy you always go to and say, "What's the radar look like, Declan? Are we going to be here all night, or are we getting out of here? What's going on?" So Declan was the guy to let you know.
Oh, he's the man. Jeff Fulcino, the 4th pitcher used tonight by the Astros, following Happ, Rodriguez. Lopez, the only one to pitch a scoreless inning. Hernandez to be followed by Paul Giannis, and then the pitcher spot. And Hernandez gone on strikes to begin the inning. Of course, right after the game, stick around. Fox Sports Ohio will break it all down on Reds Live, brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Paul Giannis, the only Red to have not reached base in the original lineup tonight. Trying to change that right here and right now.
Last time out, squared one up to center field, just right at Michael Bourne.
A very good outing tonight for Aaron Harang in his San Diego Padres debut. Well, you can only imagine what a thrill it must have been for Harang. That went off the glove of Wallace, and that'll be an infield hit for Paul Giannis. But Aaron Harang, born and raised in San Diego, starts a Padres home opener today against the Giants, and he beat them. 6 innings, allowed 1 run, struck out 6.
Well, you know, that's strikeout 6 right there is the key stat, because he's getting some swings and misses. And when Harang was, you know, at his best in the years, he had some great years here in Cincinnati. He had swing and miss type stuff. It just seemed like these last few years his balls were out over the plate. Guys weren't swinging and missing. They were really driving the baseball. But that could be, you know, change of scenery sometimes, Tommy. Is good for Aaron Harang to go out to San Diego. And now he's back home. You know, give him a chance to maybe get it going again.
And you will not find one person, with the rare exception, of course, should Harang pitch against the Reds, and the Reds are on their way out to San Diego on the next road trip. So we'll see as Jordan Smith gets a chance to bat. But everybody who's ever been around Aaron Harang, no matter whether they're a teammate, one of his coaches, Dusty Baker, the broadcasters, the people that work for the organization, everyone is rooting for Aaron Harang.
I mean, salt of the earth kind of guy.
Without a doubt.
Aaron Harang was one of my favorite teammates. You know, such a good guy. Didn't have bad words to say about anybody. Just a great human being. Him and his wife Jennifer, just great people. It's not, you know, you want to see those kind of guys succeed.
He did a lot of great things in his community, him and his wife Jennifer. Fly ball by Smith for out number 2.
Now that was a swing right there where Smith, I don't think, you know, really is a hitter. But I think he takes some early BP sometimes to see if he can get some. But right there, you know, that's That more looks like you, Tom, when you were like...
Oh, why you got to beat me up? What do I got to do with it?
Back when you were...
I was a left-handed hitter, so it didn't look like
back
that.
when your dad was signing up for 10-year-old baseball, that was your swing right there.
How did I get dragged into that?
You put it on the tee, you'd hit the tee, and the thing fall over, you pop it out to first base.
That's funny. Because you're probably right. That's what's very sad about it. When I know the count on Drew Stubbs.
That's why you became an all-star in the broadcast.
Oh, yeah. Now you're backpedaling. There's the one offer. And the play is to first. The inning is over. That opening pitch stunk after all.
It was 81, pal.
Team calendar thanks to Kroger. Saturday, April 16th, the Reds take on the Pirates. This year calendar will feature all your favorites: Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, and more. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. And baseball fans, don't forget, now's your chance to enter to win a Fox Sports Ohio Meyer prize pack. Text the word Meyer, that's MEIJER, to 37664 now to be entered. And good luck. There you see the results. Many feeling the East, as Sean Casey said, would have the wild card winner this year in the National League. The Central finishing second. And certainly an argument can be made for really any one of the four clubs for sure. The Astros would like you to believe a fifth, but there are a lot of people out there that think the Cubs could be a little bit better. Certainly the Brewers. Cardinals are always there, and the Reds are the defending champions.
Yeah, but it's going to be a 3-4 team race. Obviously, the Cubs are better because they got Garza in that rotation. Now you got Dempster, Zambrano, and Garza in that rotation, so that makes them better right there. But who knows if they have the club to do it. But you're right. You got the Brewers who are better because of their starting pitching, and you got the Cardinals with Tony La Russa. They're going to be there at the end too, like they always are.
Top of the order for Jordan Smith here in the eighth inning. Reds are at front 8-2. Reds have out hit them 10-3. Slapped into left field, a base hit by Bourne. That's his second hit tonight.
The speed Michael Bourne has, that's all you really need to do. You really get the ball on the ground, and if you can fly down that line, especially to the left side, it's going to be tough for them to make that play.
Well, it's a beautiful story that saw over the weekend about the relationship between Michael Bourne and Carl Crawford. Michael Bourne, very fortunate young man. He grew up in a family where, his mom and dad were there. Both of them had very good jobs. And Michael Bourne's dad was always his coach growing up and playing Little League baseball. And that was in the greater Houston area. But Raymond Bourne, that's Michael's dad, also coached a young man from a neighboring town who was playing for a Salvation Army baseball team. Carl Crawford came from a terribly poor, terribly violent area in Houston, Texas. And Michael Bourne's dad invited Carl Crawford to come play for their team and became like a father to Carl Crawford. It's a beautiful story about a relationship between two little boys growing up and the love of one dad for those two boys, and look where they are now.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, especially there's probably a lot of Carl Crawfords out there that don't have the opportunity to have a father figure, and a guy like Michael Bourne's father that was able to kind of take Carl Crawford under his wings. And look at him now. I mean, he's turned out to be a great young man and a well-paid player for the Red Sox. Hey, Bob Castellini just brought me
look
nice
at
little, a nice, I can say that, right? I'm allowed to say that. A nice little hot dog with sauerkraut that I'm going to crush in a second here. What's the Steeler dog?
What's it called? A Steeler dog?
Steeler dog.
A Steeler dog.
Listen, if you're nice to me, Brennan, I'll give you half this dog. Okay, pal?
I have no chance of that happening.
You're right.
All right.
We have 45 seconds after this inning ends. I'll crush this thing, no doubt about it.
Well, see, when Bob wasn't, he was already watching the game. And what Bob doesn't know is after the Reds scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and the Astros hadn't scored a run, I said, Sean, now you have to come back every game the rest of the year. And I said, you might even be paid very well for it.
Yeah, exactly. And see, we got the right guy.
He's bringing you hot dogs already.
This is my signing bonus right here, this nice hot dog with sauerkraut on it. And, I'm so grateful because I am starving.
And Bob obviously knows you very well because, they talk about the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right?
That's definitely the way to my heart. Bob knows me all too well. There he is. Bob, I appreciate it, brother. Much appreciated.
Oh, it's great to have him back. It is great to have him back. 15 games he'll be with us this summer. And, you can go ahead and start to work on that if you want. There's one out in the inning.
No way. You know why? I'm not going to, because I know MLB Network's going to tune in, and Vasgersian and those guys will absolutely crush me.
There's a base hit in the right field. And Bourne will stop at second base. Hunter Pence has his first hit tonight.
Yeah, I really am. Like you were saying before, I really am delighted to be back here. Be back in Cincinnati and back where like I said, I was a 23-year-old kid coming up here and playing 8 years here. Really, my 2 sons born here, and really feel like this is where I grew up, and I feel like I'm back home. So.
Well, we're thrilled to have you back. And obviously, so many people. And I mentioned earlier, it really is one of the marks of a man and what kind of person you are. Not just the guys who wear a uniform and how they treat you, but the guys who are working security, the women who are the ticket takers that we've seen already, they come over and give you a big hug and happy to see you back. Guys on the grounds crew. I mean,
guys,
so many guys and
well,
people around the ballpark.
Guys. I used to get on Doug all the time. Hey, Doug, can you smooth out the third a little bit over here? Those guys are the best in the business, man. And it's so great to see all those guys. There's a lot of players I hadn't, played with down here. Obviously, I know all of them. But all those guys, like the security guys and the grounds crew and the parking lot attendants, it's just great to see all those guys.
A lot of great folks working around here.
A lot of great folks.
Working hard each and every day. In the air, let's see if there's room over there for Roland. Yes, sir, 2 away. Well, you're big when I can't even get my wife to bring me a hot dog. The team's bringing you a hot dog.
Yeah, I'll call your wife and see if she can get a burger up here to you. See, Bob said he's going to bring a hamburger next inning.
That's right. 2 on, 2 out. Reds leading 8-2, and Jason Michaels will come up to bat for the pitcher. They made a double switch when they brought in a new second baseman. Michael's been around a long time.
Yeah, it's his 11th season, and you know, he had some great years with the Phillies. You know, he's hit the ball pretty well with the Astros too. You know, he's a nice little player. You know, he's a nice guy for Brad Mills to look down the bench and say, "Hey, Michael's getting the game, and you know what you're getting." We talked about before. Miguel Cairo gets in there, you know what you're getting. You know, a savvy veteran, a pro.
Speaking of food, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions, better results. JTM. Nothing in 2 with 2 on and 2 out. And that'll do it. Jordan Smith, a couple of scoreless innings with 3 strikeouts. Reds at last of the 8th, leading 8-2. April 29th and celebrating the 2010 Rawlings Gold Glove Award winners. The first 30,000 fans in attendance receive a free Gold Glovers photo, courtesy of Smart Travel. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. Bottom of the 8th inning, it'll be Miguel Cairo, followed by Joey Votto and then Scott Rowland. And Brandon Lyon, who came in to try and nail it down for Brett Meyer on opening day. Meyer had outpitched Roy Halladay in Philadelphia. And Lyon could not hold the lead, getting the loss on opening day. Phillies rallied much like the Reds did on opening day, coming up big late.
That's a tough one to swallow if you're the Astros. You know, you're really you got the Phillies right where you want them. They're supposed to be the team to beat, and you just can't finish them off, and then they end up going and getting swept in that series.
He only got 1 man out and allowed 3 earned runs in the bottom of the 9th. Two to Cairo, who took over for Brandon Phillips, knocked in a run with a sac fly. Hard hit ball off the mound and shoots to the second baseman. Matt Downs throws out Cairo. One away in the 8th. To remind you one more time, today is Ticket Tuesday, as it will be all year on Fox Sports Ohio. So during our game, as a Fox Sports Ohio viewer, you can get exclusive deals on Reds tickets right now. You can get an all-you-can-eat seat for this Thursday's game for just $25. That's all you can eat. That's a $7 savings. Go to Reds.com/Ticket Tuesday. Reds.com/Ticket Tuesday. And get your tickets now.
I'm writing that down. I'm going.
So we're going to be broadcasting from somewhere out in the stands, you're saying?
Yeah.
Instead of having the owner of the team bringing you food, you'll just run up to the concession stand.
You and me right by the nacho stand.
Sounds good.
We're crushing it.
That'd be great. You know, you talk about all this eating you're doing, but I mean, you're staying in good shape.
Oh, yeah, I'm still working out, doing so. I got a couple guys that come over 3 days a week. We do some kettlebells and stuff. You should come join us, Tom.
One and one the count. Well, you know, talking about eating, I mean, you weren't wasting any time.
I know. You know what? I'll tell you what. It didn't look like any cameras were on me besides the one right in front of me. It was so good, though, Tom.
That is a fair ball, and that's a second out of the inning. You know, if you hadn't taken that shot at my swing, that would have never made the air.
You said make sure we get Casey
absolutely
crushing the sauerkraut dog.
I said we got to see that.
You know, when the owner of the team brings you a hot dog with sauerkraut on it, you better take a couple bites.
You better eat it. 2 down for Scott Rowland. Reds 3 outs away from going to 4-0 this season after a 3-game sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers here over the weekend. The last Reds team to start a year 4-0 was 1990. 8 times it has happened in franchise history. We were talking about the last team who did it. They started 3-0. That was 2005. You remember that club, Sean Casey. And then that team lost the next 4 after starting 3-0. Wound up with 73 wins on the year. 2-2 to Rowland. But you know what? I know you hear people say it, and I mean, heck, I've said it. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. But, you know, the only people that talk about how unimportant a good start is are teams that don't start off well.
Exactly.
They're the only ones that say it, and you'll hear and every team has said it at one point in time or another. Well, it's not a big deal. It's only a week of the season. It's only 4 or 5 games. You never hear the teams that start out 4-0, 5-1, 7-1. They're never talking about, well, not a big deal, 7-1.
No,
they're saying we'll take it all day, every day.
Yeah, we'll take it all day, every day. You know, and sometimes when you get off to that good start, it carries over. It gives you confidence and momentum.
Rolling out of there on strikes, and Brandon Lyon a perfect 8th. So the Astros bat in the 9th. Reds trying to put it away, leading 8-2. at it, Sean Casey. August 18th, 2002, a game-ending home run.
That was off Ricky Stone, little 0-2 changeup. Still remember it. Look at Dunner, he's like 10.
There's Aaron Boone.
There's Russell Brandon, Aaron Boone. Man, it was a great bunch of guys there, too. Look at Lark with the afro.
Larkin, yep.
Currency, he's like 12. Not a great bunch of guys, man. That was a great team. Bob Boone, Juan Castro, Ryan Dempster, one of the funniest guys ever. Ray Knight, Donnie Gullett, love Don Gullett. Jose Cardinal, oh, this is great.
Well, Matt Maloney trying to finish it off. Another guy who has pitched almost exclusively throughout a very impressive minor league career as a starter. And earned a spot on the Reds' opening day roster by pitching so well out of the bullpen during spring training. And again, it reflects the depth of the Reds organization. The guys like LeCure, Leak, Maloney. These guys are trying to get on a team doing something that, or not in Leak's case, he wasn't pitching out of the pen in Arizona. But Maloney and LeCure trying to make the team any way they can.
It says a lot about the organization right now. It says a lot about what they're doing drafting-wise, the scouts, how deep they are. You know, there's so many good things happening here. You know, like I said, what Walt Jocketty, Bob Castellini, and you know, Dusty Baker are trying to do here, it's working.
That ball clubbed into left center field, but look at Stubbs. What a jump, and runs it down. 1 out.
I mean, that's what we're talking. That's what we're talking about before, Tommy. Put the ball in play. These guys will go get it. But watch, you know, Stubbs here. He gets a jump on this ball. I mean, Wallace crushes this pitch, and it's sinking away. See that sink on the ball? But Stubbs gets such a good jump on the baseball. That sink doesn't matter because it ends up being right in front of his body. Nice play.
Well, Reds fans right here, right now, this weekend. The Reds are in town the next time on a weekend when the Pirates come in. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. Fly ball to center field off the bat of Johnson, and the Astros are down to their final out of the night, and the Reds are an out away from going to 4-0 again for the first time since they last won the World Series in 1990. It's interesting to note that of the 8 times the Reds have started a year 4-0, 4 times they went to the World Series. 1919, 1970, 1976, and 1990.
It's a pretty good stat right there. So, you know, what we talked about before, teams that do start out, it does mean a lot. It does mean a lot for momentum. I mean, history shows itself. So, you know, the Reds, they're going to take 4-0 out the gates.
They'll have their opening day starter, Edinson Volquez, getting the ball tomorrow. Again, that's a 7:10 first pitch. Nelson Figueroa will start at 4. The Houston Astros, lots of tickets available for a 7:10 start. And this ought to do it. Giannis puts a glove on it. And that is that. The Reds are 4-0 to begin this 2011 season.
Impressive win tonight. Mike Leake did a great job. The offense did the rest. You know, got on the board early for him. But an impressive team win tonight. This club is no doubt for real.
So 4-0 to start the year, an 8-2 final. Sean and I will be back in a moment.